Hello again, and greetings from the campus of Wayne State University on a very rainy Sunday afternoon. So this video, purpose of this video here is kind of get us started on week 3, kind of do an overview of what to kind of expect this week, and then I specifically want to talk about what to do for the peer review, because you are submitting your drafts today of your resume and your cover letter, and so then beginning tomorrow, and as we'll see here in a second, what's due for Wednesday is to complete a few readings, and then based on some of the concepts from those readings, then kind of think about how to leave some feedback for your peers. So let's talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to minimize down here. Okay. So here we are in course materials again, right? Week 3, May 22nd through the 28th. And we can see right here Wednesday, read Anderson chapter 17, read McMurray, strategies for peer reviewing, which the link is right here, which we'll look at that in a moment. So chapter 17 in Anderson talks a lot about some good concepts of how to revise your drafts. And I'll be back with the video because there's also a quiz on Friday, and so we'll talk about some of those specific things. But this is strictly, I want to talk to you more just about what to do for the peer review. Okay, so let's go back to our overview real quick. All right, Wednesday, Friday, complete the readings, right? So we have 3 readings. Anderson chapter 17, strategies for peer review, and then Anderson chapter 4, and that will be for your reading quiz on Friday. Then after Wednesday, right, you will have received feedback, and then based on that feedback and what you, some of the readings that you've learned, right, what you learned this week, then you'll revise and you'll submit your draft to me on Sunday. All right, Sunday. Okay. Here is the, okay, I do want to, since you're going to be reading this, I want to just point out something real quick. So I'm going to click on this link, and this is what comes up. And so David McMurray here, he has 2 sections here. Okay, one is strategies for peer reviewing. It's not that long, and then you get down here and there's another heading. It says strategy for team writing. Okay, we'll probably revisit the team writing later. If you want to go ahead and peruse it and look at it, you most surely can. But I want you to pay particular attention to just the strategies for peer reviewing, and basically some of the what he lists out here as things to do when providing peer review, and he breaks this down into kind of a summary and kind of gives you some sort of like an example. And so one thing I do want to point out here is to always make sure that you that your peer review should not always all be negative, right? Which I think we all want to hear something positive, right? Start off with something that's good. So anyway, just note to self. All right, so let's go back. So in other words, just read that the first section there, and don't worry about the team writing part. We're going to revisit McMurray later when we get to Project 3, which is a team project. Okay. All right, so let's get in to the nitty-gritty of the peer review. And so one thing I'm sure that you already know, you will find it in the peer review forum. And so here's a peer review feedback, assignment description, and rubric. So let's take a look at that real quick for this week. Now also, what I kind of want to say here is that think about what you did for blog post 2, right? And I gave in the blog post 2 feedback video, I talked a lot about this, right? How you guys did a really good job of actually tying in the terms and concepts from Anderson, right? From the Purdue OWL, Kramer and Bernhardt, right? And we're applying them directly to this other resume, right? A lot of you all did a really good job of finding one in your field, right? So think about that in terms of this, using those same terms and concepts, right? Now what we're doing this week is we're going to look at Anderson chapter 17, right? We're going to read McMurray's strategies for peer reviewing, or peer review strategies. Now we're going to take the concepts and the ideas, right? White space, hierarchy, headings, subheadings, serif, sans serif, right? 20-second test, quadrant test, gridding, whatever, right? Experiential versus a skills resume. How you list your jobs, right? The chronological, most important one first, etc., right? So think about those kind of things, right? Things that you learn from the text, things you learn from the readings that you're going to kind of use to incorporate in your peer review. All right, so a couple of things I want to point out about the peer review feedback. You've posted your draft. Locate a peer's draft, and this is kind of very specific here. But what I'm really trying to point out to you in this is that it needs to be, everyone needs at least 2. You have to give 2, and I need that everybody receives 2, right? So when you go, the first thing I want you to do when you begin to provide your peer review and you're downloading something, okay, find one with no feedback, okay? So what you want to do then is post a comment to the selected forum thread stating that you will provide feedback, okay? It doesn't mean that you're doing it right then and there, but that you're going to, so someone knows that you're doing it while you're in the process. Okay, does that make sense? Download, right? Everyone is attaching a PDF or a doc file or whatever. Download that file, right? It should have 2 things in it. It should have a resume and a cover letter. Then you're going to read that, right? And here it says, while you read, note both the strong and the weak points of the draft, right? Similar. Think about how you did it, like I said, for blog post 2. You could think about that in that way. Use the rubric for the assignment as well as the advice in the supporting text listed below, which are Anderson 17 as well as McMurray, right? Those are the peer review strategies, right? And you're going to use those peer review strategies to then bring in those terms and the concepts from Kramer and Bernhardt, Anderson, those texts from last week that talked to us about designing, right? All right, so then you'll do that obviously 2 times, right? And that's what basically, so 4 says you post your feedback, right? You do that, and then you search for a second peer's draft, and you go back through and do it says repeat steps B through D, and I don't know why it says that. It should be go back and repeat steps 2 through 4. Okay. Supporting text, Anderson 7, I said that. Discussing drafts, and here are some specific page numbers that you might want to pay close attention to. Hint, hint. Okay. All right. Post substantial feedback. Here again, this kind of as well. So when it says submit feedback on 2 of your peers' drafts, again, I'm looking for paragraphs, well-developed, good analysis paragraphs like you did for blog post number 2, only in the form of the peer review and thinking about Anderson and thinking about McMurray when it comes to presenting this type of information. All right, so keep those things in mind. All right, I'll put myself back here in the middle. And I'll be back to you soon with other videos. We have a reading quiz, and so I will bring some information to the forefront for you for those, things to look for, as well as talk about revising our drafts as we get closer to Sunday. So that sounds like a plan. All right, guys, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Have a great week. Thanks for everything that you are doing, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.